Being brought to you by Carver Construction, the St. Barnabas Health System, Beaver County Career and Technology Center, Falcones Moon Township Ford, the YMCA, the Beaver Falls Municipal Authority, Patriot Home Care, Keystone Wellness Program, Fry Transportation Group, Freedom United Federal Credit Union, the Community College of Beaver County, Friendly Federal Credit Union, Fat Boy Cigars, Geneva College, and Beaver County Radio.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls. Beaver County Radio's news source. 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMVA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning on this Tuesday, September the 10th of 2024. We can expect sunny skies today with a high of about 83 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. Very few who live near the East Palestine train derailment have opted out of the $600 million class action settlement. Lawyers who negotiated the deal with Norfolk Southern say that the federal judge should approve the settlement after a final hearing on September 25th. 370 households and 47 businesses in a 20-mile radius covered by the agreement opted out of the property damage payments, and the separate payment of $25,000 for personal injuries was more controversial because it required giving up any rights to sue in the future. 97% of East Palestine residents still signed on. New Brighton will soon be getting a pickleball court. A New Brighton Area Recreation Commission project started yesterday to convert the Grove Avenue tennis court into 2 pickleball courts. The existing artificial grass court surface is being removed and the court area is being repaved before the courts are complete. And later this month, it's expected to open at the latest by early October. A simpler way to provide food to those in need has been approved by the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. Their new locker program, which has 40 lockers at the Center of Hope in Ambridge, contain QR codes to scan and then receive both shelf-stable and frozen food. Sue Otto, the Center of Hope's director, comments that most of the food is given from the food bank. The new program is used by 20% of the families cared for by the Center of Hope, and the food goes to a good cause to the families that need it the most. As the United States will remember the 23rd anniversary of the September 11, 2001 attacks in 2024, the Pittsburgh International Airport is reinforcing that people should not bring guns into their luggage, as the number of intercepted guns they have found in 2024 went up 32 after 2 incidents on Saturday. The first gun was owned by a man from West Virginia, and it was loaded along with 12 bullets. The second gun had a total of 18 bullets, half of them being loaded, owned by a man from Washington County. The TSAs was created because of the attacks on September 11th, and there was still a constant reminder to never pack weapons before going through TSA security in any airport. The University of Pittsburgh has fired athletic director Heather Lyke, a somewhat surprising move that came a few months before Lyke's contract expired. Pitt Chancellor Joan Gable thanked her Monday for her leadership, but noted that it was time for the athletic department to have a new vision. Lyke arrived at Pitt in 2017 and helped the Panthers to find their footing in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Jennifer Tusano will serve as interim athletic director while the university searches for Lyke's replacement. And a billionaire has rocketed back into orbit, aiming to perform the first private spacewalk. Unlike his previous chartered flight, tech entrepreneur Jared Isaacman shared the cost with SpaceX this time around. Isaacman, along with a pair of SpaceX engineers and a former Air Force Thunderbirds pilot, launched before dawn Tuesday aboard a SpaceX rocket from Florida. The 4 aim to reach new heights during their 5-day trip higher than the International Space Station. Isaacman and a SpaceX employee also plan to test their new custom suits with a spacewalk Thursday, where they'll always have a hand or foot touching the capsule. And many students in Georgia's Barrow County are headed back to class. The return comes 6 days after a shooting killed 2 teachers and 2 students at the school district's Appalachia High School northeast of Atlanta. No return date is set for the high school, but Superintendent Dallas LaDuff says district leaders will welcome the district's 13,000 students back to a safe space. LaDuff says sheriff's deputies and state troopers will provide extra security when the schools reopen, with counseling available at all campuses. A third-grade teacher, Sabrina Masters-Reed, says that many parents need their children to return so they can go to work without having to find childcare.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Sunshine today will see a high near 79. Clear skies tonight will drop down to a low in the mid-50s. We'll have a beautiful sunny day tomorrow. Look for a high of 84 and an overnight low around 58. The sunshine and warm weather continues into Thursday. We'll reach a high of 85 and a low of 59. And partly sunny on Friday. We'll see a high of 82 and a low of 61. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
On this Tuesday, September the 10th of 2024, at 10 minutes past 11, we've got a temperature of 70 degrees with sunny skies in Beaver County. That's news. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Teleforum is on the air on Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP. The show is presented by East Rochester and Tusca Shop and Saves. And now, here is the host of the show, Eddie Crow.
Welcome to Garden Jargon with Charlie Durden, right here on Beaver County Radio. Charlie is here to talk to you about everything having to do with your garden. Garden Jargon is being brought to you by Beaver County Radio 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP and 1460 WMBA and beavercountyradio.com. Call in now and ask Charlie your gardening questions. Share if you have any gardening tips that have helped your garden grow. Phone numbers are 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888. And now, without further ado, here's Charlie.
Well, go ahead. You start. Point that mic at. It introduced you. You're on. I got nothing to say. I'm just going to talk about cats. How you doing, man?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing good, brother. It's been a long month. Actually been a short month because we were third week last.
Right.
And we had to bump it up a day early so you guys could do the 9/11 program tomorrow.
Correct. We're doing a 9/11 special program tomorrow. It's the 23rd anniversary.
Yes.
And we said, bet Charlie would rather give room, want to do Tuesday, and you said absolutely, and here you are. I'm going to start, and I know you show up annoyingly prepared with the topics, but I'm just going to start with this. What's the weirdest animal you've ever eaten?
A hot dog.
Fair enough. Fair enough. If you know what is in a hot dog, you are absolutely correct.
Yes, I was told when I was very young, don't ever go to where they make them or you'll never eat them.
All right. Fair enough.
Okay.
You ever had squirrel?
All the time. It's one of my. I wish venison tasted like squirrel because squirrel's the best piece of meat in the woods.
And people don't believe that, and they don't remember animals taste like what they eat.
Yes, and the squirrels out in the wild that get the nuts and the seeds and they're much better than something that's living closer to town that
They're
doesn't
not
get
going through garbage cans.
Yeah. Anyways, and people think I'm weird because I eat squirrels and I don't even go down that road with the cats and the thing. But I do not do like they do in some of the southern states. I do not crack the squirrels' heads open and eat the brains. That's where I draw.
Now, you know what? I have seen that. Where do you fall on brain sandwiches? Because in the Midwest, the German half of Evansville, Indiana, is German Catholic, the West Side.
Okay.
Every pub, every bar, every tavern has their own special recipe for brain sandwiches.
I wouldn't not eat one. I mean, I wouldn't neglect to eat it because, but I do enjoy tongue.
Tongue is a great piece of meat if you don't tell people what it is.
Yes, and you used to make lunch meat called blood tongue.
Yeah.
Let's get back to gardening.
Let's get back to good vegetables and good healthy things that don't make you squeamish.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I'll start this month's show off like I do most of a shout out. My beautiful granddaughter Malin is going to have her 21st birthday in a few days.
No way.
Yeah. She's a junior in college now. And the last time you saw her, she was singing the national anthem at the car cruise. And she's...
That's been a while.
Yeah, that was 2022, And so her mom and dad had a pre-21 party for her before she went to college. And I'm not sure what you do at a pre-21 party.
That was my question. What is that?
I don't know. She just told me when she was at my house before she left for school, she said they had a pre-21 party for me. So anyways, happy birthday, Malin.
Well, seriously, do you practice drinking with non-alcoholic stuff?
Well, her parents were there, so I mean, I don't know.
Where were you when you were 21?
I was in the United States Navy.
Okay.
Stationed on the AS-12, the USS AS. I'm sorry, the AS-12, which is a USS Sperry. It was a submarine tender. Okay, that's where I was when I was 21. But I'm not.
So your drinking had already broken out a little bit
before I left for the Navy.
Good call.
Yeah. Okay.
I know this fall, and I thought about it because I've got leaves just starting to go brown. Your pepper plant, by the way, is crushing it. But there's stuff that we can get in the ground now. You told me about snow peas, and I'm waiting on that.
Mine are up about like that.
Are they really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As soon as the weather started to change a little bit, I put them in.
Well, I got to get them in. What else can I get in?
Okay, we're going to go into that. But before that, you asked me a couple shows ago what my favorite tomato was.
Yeah.
And you thought I was pulling your leg when I said the Novosaski Jockey car.
It hurt my head. Is that what that is?
There's a box of them in your office.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
Hold that up on video so everybody can see it.
Okay, and this is a tomato. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because we want to get into some fall planting. But this is a tomato that I say is comparable to the pierogi because multiple nationalities claim the pierogi.
True.
Okay, depending on who you are, this is a giant Serbian, giant German, giant Greek. Every nation is so good. Every nationality claims it. Okay, you can see it's kind of a pinkish tomato. It's a wonderful tomato.
What makes a tomato better than another tomato to you?
Sweetness, juiciness, okay, and some tomatoes have a real good flavor, but the skin is real thick on them. And some tomatoes, like the ox heart and the beefsteak tomatoes, have a good flavor, but they have a huge core. When you cut the core out of the tomato, half the tomatoes
you're
gone.
Losing the meat.
This is another beautiful thing about those tomatoes. The core is very small. So, and if you're cutting and you get a little piece of the core in your sandwich, you'll be able to eat it. It's not like the big heavy core in some of those tomatoes.
Okay. And it's flavorful enough. When somebody says I need tomatoes for a sauce, those are the less flavorful tomatoes, aren't they?
I brought some of them last month. Aromas, and I prefer the San Marzanos. San Marzano's a little bigger to have a little more flavor, and but there's a million different kind of tomatoes. And if you want to start gardening, this is the time of year to start schooling yourself up for next year to figure out what you want to grow.
Why are there a million different kinds of tomatoes? Are they easy? Because
there's a million different kinds of people, Eddie. I'm serious. Every culture. Okay, not a lot like the Mediterranean cultures like to make sauces.
Right.
Okay, so they lean sometimes more toward the sauce tomatoes. And your German people you were talking about making the bread. This would be a tomato they would like. It's a slicing salad
sandwich tomato.
Oh, bacon and tomato sandwich with it. Oh.
You just planned my weekend for me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. So first thing I prepared for 3 topics like I always do, but we're probably not going to get to the third one. But that's okay because hopefully, if we do an October show, we can do the third topic. But garlic.
Oh.
This is the time to plant garlic. Now I'm going to use this box so I don't make a mess.
Best tasting vampire repellent ever.
Yeah,
all right.
buddy.
For the people that are watching this on Facebook, Charlie UC has a knife. I'll try and do play-by-play of Charlie Dirt with a knife.
Okay.
Go
all
ahead.
right. This is not rocket science, but there's also a million different kinds of garlic. All right. But the 2 basic things you want to think about if you want to grow garlic, there is what they call elephant garlic, and the heads are huge. The heads are like the size almost of a baseball. That's a very mild garlic. That's like a salad garlic. All right. Something to eat raw. This is a more pungent garlic. Okay. Well, okay, I'll make the mess on the counter then. Okay.
It's a radio station. What stain could you possibly provide?
Or what new odor could
what
you possibly?
What new funk is coming out of this? Charlie is whittling away the garlic.
Okay, and here's you're going to get ahead of garlic now. Okay, this
kind
planting
of skinned it.
Okay, I'm just skinning it back so I can break the clothes out. Mm-hmm. Do not go to the grocery store and buy garlic and plant it and expect it to grow. We've talked about that before. They spray it with an inhibitor so it doesn't sprout in the store to improve the shelf life. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's inhibited and it ain't going to grow.
It ain't going to grow. Okay. So this is a more cooking type garlic. it's kind of a red skin garlic. You can see that the color to it. The elephant garlic is very, very white, snow white. Okay.
What do I get when I go and I buy the little mesh bag of garlic at a store? What kind of garlic is that?
Well, if it's a smaller head, it's going to be like a cooking type garlic.
Okay.
If the heads are huge and real snowy white, then that's an elephant type garlic. Okay. You're going to go out and you're going to prepare your ground. You're going to till up your ground. Now, what I do, and there's a right way, the wrong way, and the way that works for you. Mm-hmm. When I till, and I've talked to, I use Epsom salts with everything. So I till the ground and I put in a little 5, 10, and 10 fertilizer, and I till some granular Epsom salts in, prepare the ground, cut the furrows, okay, and you want to plant your garlic. You're going to take the head apart like this.
Holding the head, dropping the head.
Dropping the head, yeah, okay.
I heard garlic is really good on grilled cat.
Grilled cat?
I heard that.
Well, it just can't get you away from that. See, Eddie's a cat lover, so that's why he's on that story.
No, I am profoundly affected by people's ignorance. And be honest, what did I say when you came in here? I said, Charlie, within a year, I'm living in a cave somewhere. What did you say?
I said, make it a 2-bedroom. Then you said, I'm taking the cats. I said, make it a 3-bedroom.
3-bedroom, and you're in charge of the garden. Show me how to grow garlic. I'll help when it gets to that point.
Okay. So you're going to take the cloves apart, but you're not going to peel the cloves like if you were going to cook it.
They look like little mini misshaped footballs at that point.
It's exactly. Now, if it was elephant garlic, these cloves would be 2 or 3 times this size. Then you can see, if you look at here, it's kind of a reddish skin stuff. This is a much more pungent garlic than the elephant garlic.
That's what you want.
Well, sure, if you're cooking. If you're cooking.
Right.
Now, you can cook with the elephant garlic, but you got to put 4 times as much. It's like the difference between the Greek oregano and your other oregano.
Exactly. They both do it. One does it way more intensely.
Right. So you're gonna break the head apart till you got the cloves like this. Okay. Mm-hmm. You're gonna go out. You're gonna cut your furrows, and I do the old-fashioned way. I'd use a stick and a string so the row is straight.
How deep?
About 2.5, 3 inches. You don't want to put them real deep. When you put the clove in the ground, you want just a little dirt on top of it.
And the pointed end up.
Yes.
The more pointed end rather than the round end.
Exactly.
Of the clove.
This is where the roots are going to come out. Now, the funny thing is, nature can make up for a lot of your mistakes. If you get a couple in that are laying down a little bit or maybe even totally upside down, they will magically straighten around as they grow, because the roots will go down and the top will go up. Now, a lot of the old timers say plant garlic in October. I am a proponent of planting it like the second week of September because, especially in western Pennsylvania, you can get a rainy October and your garden could be a mud hole by the middle of October. This time of year, especially look at the weather we got coming up here. You were saying earlier it's not supposed to rain for 2 weeks.
Right. It's sunny and mild till halfway to October.
Sure. So you're going to have nice dry ground to till or spade with a shovel, whatever you and to work with. So you've got your fertilizer, and like I said, I mix some Epsom salts in the dirt, till it up, cut the furrows, and I take a stick and I cut the stick 3 inches long, and I put a clove down on the ground and I put the stick, and that's the way I space it. All right. You could eyeball it.
Okay.
There's no. You don't have to use a micrometer.
Well, I'm trying to translate this into growing like I do it in containers. So 3 inches of space.
3 inches, and if you have a frost-proof container, because it has to be garlic. Garlic is good for you for a lot of reasons, but I think it's in the ground all winter. Mm-hmm. You plant it now, and it's gaining strength, and you will find that if the ground freezes really hard, your garlic is better when you dig it next July.
Really?
Yes, and it will keep longer. If you have one of those sissy warm winters like we've had sometimes lately, your garlic doesn't keep real good when you dig it. It's just a thing of nature. It gets its strength from being in that cold ground. All right? So you're gonna cut your furrows. You're gonna space them 3 inches apart. Cover them with an inch or two of dirt. And then, now here's where you're going to save a lot of trips to the chiropractor next spring. Mulch it. Mulch it heavy. You can mulch it with straw. Like you've heard me say, without shredded paper.
You don't mean the suburban brown, red, or black mulch, do you?
No, that's landscaping mulch.
Right.
Mulch is a noun. It's a verb, not a noun.
You're using mulch as a verb rather than a noun.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So and I've said before, at one time you didn't dare use shredded paper for mulch because the ink was lead based.
Ooh.
The EPA, quite a few years ago, made them go to a soy-based ink, so you don't have to worry about getting lead poisoning. Matter of fact, I've been told that the county master gardeners have gardening plots for people, and they provide shredded newspaper for mulch out there. I talked to a guy that had a plot out there that was gardening out there a few years ago. Matter of fact, I bought a rototiller off of him. Anyway, you can shred it with grass clippings. If you've got a big yard and you save the grass, mulch it with grass clippings.
Is it fair to say anything that biodegrades quickly? Isn't that what mulch does?
Yes, except leaves. Leaves is too heavy of a mulch.
Because of the tannic acid.
Well, the tannic acid sours the ground. Yeah, tannic acid in oak leaves. Maple leaves won't do that.
All right.
Oak leaves are bad for that. But mulch, leaves, and I've known people who've done it, and the leaves are too inhibiting. The garlic can't hardly get up through it because when those leaves rot down, they become very dense. Okay, they get wet, they get snow on them.
And it just becomes a layer, almost like a quilt of leaves rather than the space.
Yes.
Okay.
So all you're trying to do is hold the moisture in and keep the weeds away.
Every day.
So you're going to mulch, and by doing that, and you may go out in the spring and mulch it again, because some of that mulch is going to disintegrate during the winter. Mm-hmm. Mulch it again. Because there's nothing more of a pain in the neck than trying to weed garlic that's growing 3 inches apart, and you're trying to pull the weeds out and not pull the garlic up out of it.
And you pull it up, and you're like, oh, that's one less.
Yeah. Okay, and so I believe in mulching just for organic reasons and work-saving reasons. And then you may start, if you plant it in September, you may start to see some green sprouts coming up before the snow comes. It just depends. And don't worry if you don't. If you don't see anything coming up before winter, don't worry about it. It's in there. It's getting ready to go.
Should I worry if they do? Do I need to take extra precautions because they jumped it early?
No.
Okay.
It won't freeze. If it gets cold enough for garlic to freeze, you're going to have more problems.
I got bigger issues than spices and herbs. Gotcha.
You're not going to find a deep enough cave to live in if it gets that cold, man. But so that's basically it with the garlic. It's not rocket science, and if you've never done it before, just go to the farmer's market and buy. Like I had to get one head of garlic. What I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
One
7.
head ended up can be 6 or 10 cloves.
Yeah, I think there's 6 or 8 cloves there.
Yeah.
And if you just want to just get a couple of heads of garlic, and the farmers will sell it to you very reasonable. And I'll tell you what about most of those farmers at the farmers market. If you say, hey, can you give me some tips about growing this? They'll be more than glad to talk to you for 30 minutes about how to do it.
That's their thing.
That's their thing, and they like to share the information for the most part, and you can learn a lot like that.
Who would think that asking an expert for advice would be beneficial?
Well, Ed, my Uncle George used to say an expert's just an ordinary guy 7 miles from home.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's true in a lot, not just gardening. That's true in a lot of things, But and the thing about garlic, it's a wonderful antioxidant. It's good for your body. It will lower your blood pressure. I remember years ago when they put my mother on blood pressure medicine, she asked the doctor, well, what about eating garlic? And he wasn't up for that. Okay.
Well, he was a medically trained doctor. That's like voodoo.
Yes, and he says, well, I still remember what he said. He says, well, it will work, but it's not as efficient as our modern methods. I'm not saying if you got high blood pressure, start eating garlic and stop taking your lisinopril. I'm not saying that, but it's not going to hurt.
It's a tasty way.
It's a tasty way, and this garlic I would not recommend cutting into a salad because this will burn your little tongue.
Too strong.
It's too strong. But when you cook it, when you put it in a sauce or something like that, or salsa, something like that, it's excellent garlic. And like I say, there's the big elephant and the small, the hotter, more pungent garlic, the red skin garlic. Basically, the other subdivision, there's hard neck and soft neck garlic. When you see the garlic braided, those ladies do those wonderful braids of garlic.
Hanging up.
Yeah, I don't have the patience, and I grow hard neck garlic. You can't braid hard neck garlic, but the soft neck garlic you can braid.
I got more garlic questions, but we're going to do news first. Does it really keep vampires away?
I haven't seen one in my garden since I started growing it.
That works.
Football season is here, and East Rochester and Tusca Shopping Gate headquarters, with all the food and beverages you need to make your tailgates and game day parties the best in town. Fire up the grill with their top quality meats, delicious burgers, hot dogs, and chicken wings. Get your cheese and meat platters, dips, and all your game day snacks. Check out their wide variety of wines and the beer cave. Don't miss out on amazing weekly specials and save money at the pump with every dollar you spend. Stop by your Shop and Save at the Tusca Plaza or East Rochester today for everything you need this football season.
If you own a company or a small business, you might have considered advertising on radio. It's smart because radio is still the most far-reaching media outlet today. WBVP and WMBA can get you results. Get more information at beavercountyradio.com.
Join Beaver County Radio on September 14th at Green Valley Park from noon till 2 for a day of fun and fireworks at the New Swickley Township Community Day and Fall Festival all in one. There will be fun for all ages with bounce houses, a petting zoo, train rides, first responders, fire trucks, and more. Enjoy several food trucks, raffle baskets, and Trace Ladd's Band performing from 4:30 to 7:30. There will be free shuttle parking at the Big Knob Grange from 1 to 8:30. Join Beaver County Radio from noon to 2 at the New Swickley Township Community Day and Fall Fest with activities and fun happening all day long at Green Valley Park.
You're busy, no time to cook, you're hungry, and the kids are too. Don't stress. Make it a McDonald's dinner tonight. Download the app and get McDelivery right to your door. Whatever you're hungry for, McDonald's has it. You're happy, the kids will be too. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning on this Tuesday, September the 10th of 2024. We can expect sunny skies today, reaching a high of about 83 degrees. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. Very few people who live near the East Palestine train derailment have opted out of the settlement that's worth $600 million. Lawyers who negotiated the deal with Norfolk Southern say that the federal judge is set to approve the settlement after a final hearing on September 25th. About 370 households and 47 businesses in a 20-mile radius covered by the agreement opted out of it for property damage. The separate payment that was worth up to $25,000 for personal injuries was more controversial because it required giving up any right to sue in the future. 97% of those East Palestine residents still signed on. A simpler way to provide food to those who need it has been approved by the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. Their new locker program, which has 40 lockers at the Center of Hope in Ambridge, contain QR codes to scan and then receive both shelf-stable and frozen food. Sue Otto, the Center of Hope's director, comments that most of the food is given from the food bank. The new program is used by 20% of families cared for by the Center of Hope, and the food goes to a good cause to families that need it the most. The annual Beaver County Emergency Siren Test will be happening this week. It'll take place on Thursday, September the 12th at 11 a.m. The sirens are meant to be heard outdoors as a signal to go inside and to tune into the radio emergency alert system stations such as WBVP, which you are listening to right now. The test will last for approximately 3 minutes, and it is a federal requirement to ensure sirens in the 10-mile radius of the Beaver Valley Power Station are working properly. The Pennsylvania State Police arrested 4 people for public drunkenness. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano reports that on Sunday, September 8th, just after 7:30 p.m., police were called to Green Road at Red Dog Road in Green Township for 2 vehicles parked near a private property. According to the report, a state trooper that responded to the scene saw empty beer cans scattered around the vehicles. He spoke to 4 individuals involved and reported they all smelled like alcohol. The foursome admitted to drinking, and non-traffic citations were issued to the group. Officials in Springfield, Ohio said Monday that they have not received any credible reports of Haitian immigrants abducting and eating pets, despite viral claims on social media that have been amplified by Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance and others. References to the claim, which allege Haitian migrants have been eating cats as well as ducks and geese, have garnered millions of views on X, with Vance's X posts racking up 4 million views. Senator Ted Cruz, a Texas Republican, posted a meme on X showing 2 cats holding each other with text that reads, "Please vote for Trump so Haitian immigrants don't eat us." but the city's spokesperson told CBS News that there have been no credible reports or specific claims of pets being harmed by migrants. In September, the American Red Cross is stressing the continuing need for blood products to ensure patient care. Donors of all blood types are asked to give now to keep blood supply levels rising after a summer shortage. Type O blood donors and those giving platelets are especially needed. All who give between September 16th and the 30th will get a $15 e-gift card to a merchant of their choice. For more details, visit redcrossblood.org/fall. And when Donald Trump and Kamala Harris meet on stage in Philadelphia, they'll both know there's little debate that Pennsylvania is critical to their chances of winning the presidency. The most populous presidential swing state has sided with the winner of the past two elections, each time by just tens of thousands of votes. The stakes may be especially high for Harris because no Democrat has won the White House without PA since 1948. The debate that takes place tonight will happen before voting starts in PA and everywhere else. It'll take place at the National Constitution Center in Philadelphia. We will have coverage here on WBVP. That starts at 7 o'clock, and the debate gets underway at 9 p.m.
Here's the Beaver County forecast on 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Sunshine today will see a high near 79. Clear skies tonight will drop down to a low in the mid-50s. We'll have a beautiful sunny day tomorrow. Look for a high of 84 and an overnight low around 58. The sunshine and warm weather continues into Thursday. We'll reach a high of 85 and a low of 59. And partly sunny on Friday. We'll see a high of 82 and a low of 61. I'm Lisa Marie with your Beaver County weather.
On this Tuesday, September the 10th of 2024, at 35 minutes past 11, we've got a temperature of 72 degrees with sunny skies in Beaver County. That's news. I'm Curtis Welsh on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Garden Jogging with Charlie Dirt right here on Beaver County Radio. It's being brought to you at Beaver County Radio 95.7, 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and beavercountyradio.com. The phone lines are now open 724-843-1888 and 724-774-1888.
All right. I'm going to admit to something, and I suspect if I don't admit to it, Charlie's going to call me out on it anyway. The entire newscast Curtis was trying to do. What were we doing? We were meowing, weren't we?
Well, you were. I was laughing. You were meowing. I was laughing.
I'm sorry. The offensive part isn't. Charlie's here. We're talking about planting.
And garlic will lower your blood pressure, which right now I think you could use.
This is every day.
I know.
This is every day. I'm quite. You know what? You know when my blood pressure goes home, my friend? When I go home and I tend to the pepper plants and I tend to the tomato plants and I have a little cat burger and I'm fine again. It's the ludicrous nature of the planet we live in.
I thought you were going to say you went to Wendy's and got the new Krusty Krab sandwich at the SpongeBob buffet.
No. Also grotesque. But you know what's available? See, this is what happened when you change the subject. You know this. I'm just going to, hey, Charlie's here. We were going to talk about gardening. But do you know what's available? I just saw a sign. And I don't do fast food.
I don't either.
I haven't driven to a fast food, I bet you, maybe 3 times in the last 15 years. I think it's A&W. On Route 65, where it's 2 restaurants.
Yeah, it's A&W and Colonel Sanders. Not John Silver's. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a sign. They have a Captain Crunch milkshake. I might have to pull in for the Captain Crunch milkshake.
Well, since you're talking about pet peeves, I have a pet peeve. When I try to get out of the high school after a football game and I'm tired, I want to go home.
Right, you're there
and
with
the people
the band.
have 17th Street completely blocked trying to get to the drive-thru at McDonald's, and the parking lot is completely empty. They could have pulled in and parked and walked in. And what part of you don't understand? You just blocked the street and I have to go around a block to get to my house.
You got to get home to feed your cats, man. I understand.
I don't have any cats, but yeah,
you want one?
No, you got to give them away in pairs. That's the way you get them.
That's exactly how I got them. Somebody is calling. I think they have a question for you. We were going to talk about
Asparagus.
And we've got a picture of asparagus, but somebody's calling. Hi, thank you for calling Garden Jarden. What's your name?
Hey, good morning, Eddie. Good morning, Charlie. This is Deborah. How are you?
If I was any better, I'd have to be twins. How are you?
I'm doing good, Charlie. Hey, listen, maybe the reason why the McDonald's parking lot is full, not full, maybe they closed the inside for one reason or another. There's a thought for you. Hey,
that does happen. I know that, yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to say two things to you, Charlie.
Okay.
Something I've been wanting to say. You sound exactly like Frank Sparks when you're at the radio station.
Really?
Your voice sounds so different than when you call in.
Well, it's two different people. That's my alter ego that calls in.
Yeah, and I'm not much on gardening and stuff. Although my grandparents and my parents had gardens and stuff, and we were the weed pullers, which I didn't like that job. But anyway, so I wanted to ask you, so what do you think of barbecue cattails? Do you think that would be good?
Barbecued cattails?
There's not a lot of meat on the tail.
Yeah.
And if it's a Manx, there is no tail.
I bet you felt bad, Eddie, whenever you heard about that this morning. Your poor kittens, they were like, no, don't eat us.
That's not why I felt bad. I felt bad because there are people walking the earth, driving in traffic with me that believed it with literally no evidence other than somebody saying, I heard that, ... That's why my cats, now hang on, my cats are living the life of Riley when Riley ain't home. Here's my cat's gig. We'll wake the biped up at about 5 minutes before the alarm and stomp on him until he gives us food. Then we'll go back to bed. When he shows back up, we're going to get underfoot. I've learned to shuffle my feet like a 90-year-old because if I don't, I trip over them. They run the house. They're doing fine.
Listen, real quick. If you talk to the locals in Ohio, they will tell you that they have seen stuff in trees. Like,
give me an example. Yeah, there was somebody killed a cat and hung it in a tree, and that's where the video started. And people happen to be standing around.
It's Halloween time.
No, if you're killing an animal and hanging it in a tree in somebody's neighborhood, that's intimidation time.
That's disgusting.
That's the whole point.
Hey, Charlie.
Well, I'm listening.
It was good saying hi to you because I don't know if you remember me, but anyway, I just wanted to say hi to you because when we were at the 70th anniversary,
right,
of the
over
station,
Woolly Bullies. I remember you. You spoke to me and then immediately began to ignore me, which I totally appreciated.
Oh no, I didn't. Did I?
Yeah, you walked. No, I'm messing with you. All right.
Okay.
Deborah,
all right, Charlie. Listen, God bless you, and you have a good day, everybody.
All right, God bless you. Go feed the cats.
And you stir this stuff up, and then
I don't. What did I say? You noticed that she was much nicer. Oh, hi, Charlie. I get to talk to Charlie. I don't have to talk to you the other guy. I thought it was a call about asparagus because that's what we said we were going to talk about.
Okay.
And I love asparagus.
Yes. Okay. Now this, what I'm going to bring up here, this is for maybe the second tier up gardener. I've always tried to
not me.
Not me. But the show I wish for the beginning gardener, for the person that's sitting on a fence saying, "Do I want to do this?"
There you go.
Now,
That's
and this
big.
will get 3 or 4 or even 5 feet tall. This, and I have fun with people. My asparagus is looking like this time of year, and I'll say, "Guess what that is?" And they'll say, "Ferns," and I'll say, "No."
They look like ferns.
And they'll say, "Dill," and I say, "No," because it looks like dill. This is what starts to happen with your asparagus after the 1st of June. So it's going to grow, and it's going to grow, and it's going to grow, and about this time of year, this is what you want to see.
That looks like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
Yes. But you see the little green berries on it. If you're not watching on Facebook, it looks like a little ferny thing, and there's little green berries. And for you boys from Alabama, they're about the size of double-aught buckshot.
Yeah, they is.
Yeah, they is. Okay, that's what they are.
You wouldn't use that for a squirrel or a cat. That's too much.
Yeah, it's too much. Yeah. Okay. So you're going to look for this. Before you get the little green berries, you're going to get little tiny yellow flowers where those berries are. Just like anything else, the flowers and there's some pollination goes on. Mm-hmm. Those are your seeds in the non-ripe state. Now,
I like my seeds in the ripe state.
Now, can we see these in the jar, or do we have to take them out?
Pour them out in your hand. This is on our live Facebook feed. They look like tiny little red. Remember the little yellow squishy things with the guns?
Yeah.
About the size of that.
Okay, can you see?
If you're a fisherman, these little red balls would probably be about an eighth ounce, or you're looking at big salmon egg jar.
Big salmon egg. That's okay. This is the green berries after they turn red.
All right.
This is when you want to harvest them. Now, this is what we're talking. It's a little bit labor intensive, and it's a little bit involved, and it's a 2-year project. But if you've done this for a year or two and you're really starting to dig gardening and you really like asparagus and you're tired of paying $5 a pound for it in the store.
Oh, easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you harvest the seeds and you put them. Now, I have them in a jar with a lid on them because I had to get them to the radio station. You want to put them in an open container. You can put them in a cardboard box. You can put them in anything and store them till you have enough to plant. Now, I'm going to go back to my thing here.
How many is enough? Well, it depends on how many you
want to plant.
How much space you got to plant.
Yeah. And the thing is, now, this is where the 2-year project comes in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll bring this back. This is the result of asparagus seeds that I planted this time last year.
This is the cup that looks like you got ferns coming up.
Yes, this is a 1-year-old asparagus plant. You want to have at least a 2-year-old asparagus root to plant for success. You can go buy asparagus roots, and you can even put asparagus roots in this time of year, but I'm going to recommend if you're putting them in the fall, if you can get 3-year-old roots, because you're going to need some stout stuff.
They've gotten stronger over time.
Right.
Okay.
Now, you could plant this. The chances of surviving wouldn't be good. Now, you see what I got here? It's in a sour cream container.
Little sour cream cup.
All right. This is what I like to plant it in. Okay? And I drill some holes in the bottom and the side so that it can drain. This has been sitting on my garden table, one of my garden tables, all summer, and it's got to this point. It's going inside. When the weather gets bitter cold, it's going inside. It's going to go on a sunny windowsill. All right. I have several of these. I do several of these every year, and I give them to people sometimes. And this is going to set in your window all winter, and it's not going to stay this green, but it's not going to totally get brown either.
It's not going to brown and crunch.
Yeah, some of it may dry up, but most of it will stay alive. And if it does mostly get brown, don't get frustrated, because in the spring you'll start to see the green shoots starting to come up again. Now, next spring, when this is like almost 2 years old, do not take it out of this container. My experience, if you remove it, that's the kiss of death for that root. This is why I have it in this kind. I take my pocket knife and I split it down the side and I cut the bottom off and I just put that down in the ground right up with just very little sticking out.
A cup within a cup, and it's going to get through the splits, the root.
Well, sure, because this plastic will disintegrate over time. But if you split it down both sides and cut the bottom off, that root can grow and it can expand. It'll push that cup away. To see the beauty of it, you're not disturbing the root. I have done this many different ways, and if somebody has done it a different way and had success, by all means, call in or text us or something. But I developed 2-year roots like this. I'll put this in next spring, And again, I will mulch it, I'll fertilize it. Now, when you bring it in for the winter, you're going to have to feed it because there's not very much soil in here for it to live off of. What I find works really good when we talk, like the Job spikes.
Yeah.
Okay. And
the
you get
overtime feed.
Yes. And it comes with a little tool. You poke a hole in the dirt and stick one of them down in. And if they're not real big and real strong when you bring it in, just break the spike in half and put it in there. But that'll slowly dissolve and slowly feed it. And Eddie, here's the other beautiful thing. You're sitting there all winter thinking, I'm going to have asparagus. I'm going to have asparagus.
I love asparagus.
But you look outside and it's gray and it's nasty and it's raining and it's snowing and it's slushy and everybody's frowning. You have this in your window. You have something green.
And you think, so what? It makes a difference.
Yes. Now, if you can keep your cats from upsetting it and knocking it under the table or something.
I'm threatening them with a trip to Ohio.
You know, we have a vagrant at the door. Hi, Frank.
Come on in, Frank. Come on in, Frank. Meow, 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 meow. I told everybody in the building, when you pass Sparks in the hall today, just go meow and keep moving. What were we talking about? Seeds. How's that for professional?
Yeah.
We do have about 5 minutes left.
All right, so I'm going to do something real quick here.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you have questions you can't get in today, how about this? If they can call you in the next few days and
they
ask
can call me anytime.
And you can forward it to me?
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you look, you bring that picture up of the asparagus again. That's what this can turn into. Sears it a little bit.
Softens up the fibers inside.
Yeah. Now, and if your asparagus gets too big, it can get pretty fibrous. You can actually peel asparagus. If them thing, you can take like a potato peeler and you can take that outer part off. Okay, we're down to a couple minutes probably.
This is important because some of my stuff falls into this category. Winter's about. I've got a couple plants that I'm ready to go.
Okay. Now, and this is, you can bring some of your plants inside. And people do it with flowers. People do it with. You may have something that you want to dig up and bring in. You may have you have these outside. These are outside. Okay, these have been outside all summer. Every creepy crawler in the world has had exposure to this.
Has hung out.
Okay, don't bring your plants in without treating them for bugs, or you're going to wake up in the middle of the night and things are going to be flying around in your bedroom and you have no idea what they are. They're going to be crawling around on your kitchen table. Your cats are going to be losing their mind.
The cats will get them, but it will be a mess. You're right.
Okay. So, and again, I didn't bring the bottle this month. We had it before. What I like to use is the insecticidal soap. It's called Garden Safe. The nice thing about that, Eddie, is if you do bring your plants in and your cats happen to chew on that, they're not going to get sick.
Hurt them.
Yeah. It might give them a little bellyache, but it's not going to kill them. It's not going to make them sick. Treat them for bugs before you bring them in. Now, so that's one main thing I wanted to get into my topic of getting your garden ready for the winter. You're going to want to start, your plants are going to die off. They're going to start to slow down. You'll know when it's time. And you'll need to mow your garden down and put some leaves on them and stuff like that. We can get into that a little more depth next month because what do we got, a minute or two?
Yeah, and now is the time. You've already got your snow peas in. That's my winter plan try.
Yeah. Put the snow peas in, and you're going to have to make, if you do container gardening, which I love.
Right.
Okay, and I container garden.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to have a big enough container to build some kind of a little trellis. Or you can even buy. I've seen them in a store. They're little plastic trellises that people put down in flower pots.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Make sure you have a pot big enough that you can put one or two of them in there because the snow peas want to climb. They get little vines, all right? And they will withstand a pretty substantial frost. They won't live through a hard freeze. There's a big difference between a frost and a hard freeze is like when it goes down to like 24, 25 degrees. Everything with moisture in it freezes. The frost is, you can get a frost at like 38 degrees.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Now that kind of frost is going to kill peppers, tomatoes, any plant like that.
Especially I live maybe 2,000 yards from the river.
Yes. And I actually, I know, I don't know if the lady still has it or not. She grows cactuses And cactuses will win her over. She has cactuses; they're like a perennial, and that shocked me. I'm thinking about the desert and 100 degrees, but the cactus apparently they don't freeze because she has them year after year after year. They keep coming up.
Middle of the night in the desert, it's cold as blue blazes.
Yes, yeah, we used to camp at the edge of the desert when I was in the Navy, and there's no moisture in the air, so when that sun goes down, there's nothing, and if there's no clouds.
Right.
There's
no holding the heat down.
They call it radiational cooling.
Yeah. Well, we cover everything. It's always a challenge because you come in here and we get goofy with other stuff and have a great time, and then I'm like, we didn't talk about prunes or something.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and that's why, like I say, I always prepare 3 topics. I knew with the garlic and the asparagus, I knew that was going to take a little extra time. I guess my closing thought would be, don't be discouraged to try it. What do you have invested if you go to the farmer's market, you buy a couple heads of garlic? Now, here's another thing that can happen. Squirrels will dig it up. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Cats will dig it up.
Well, cats can't get to it, but squirrels have already started storing for the winter on me.
Well, and you have those people that feed them peanuts, and then they bring the peanuts and dig up your container and put the peanuts in.
Put them away for later. Yeah, that's right.
I hear you talking, brother. I hear you talking.
Charlie Dirt, Garden Jargon, once a month. It was going to be tomorrow, but something else is happening tomorrow, and I'll tell you about that after this.